How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Thanks for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate your time.
No worries. You're welcome.
Good day? Having a good day?
Yeah, man. It's doing some house renovations and a lot of adult stuff. So yeah.
Okay.
I'm good.
House renovations. What's that for? Is that just like a living thing, or is it musical related? Like you're trying to build something?
No, I wish. No, it's just plain and simple doing the bathroom again. Yeah.
That's work, but hey, oh, got to be done. All right, wonderful, wonderful. What about the week? You've had a busy week so far, in particular as far as Psychonaut goes. Has it been keeping you busy this week?
Yeah, always. There's have been quite a lot of interviews this week, in the next couple of weeks as well. And of course, we're planning a lot of rehearsals and arguing about the perfect set list and yeah, just talking about light shows and everything. Really getting ready to perform this album live.
Yeah, it's all focused on that, isn't it? Just so many little intricate bits that even though you're at the home stretch and we're almost there on the release, there's still
Yeah,
so much that's got to go into it. And then you're thinking about the future automatically. You're thinking about the shows and you're thinking about what 2026 will look like, right?
yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy, really, isn't it, as well? The build to an album release, it's such a long period of time these days. So many different things that need to be done as you're working your way to a release date, and even patient. October 24th, it's just around the corner. We're almost there. But tell me, when you kind of look back at the build period for this record, what's been some of your favorite things to do this time around?
I guess my favorite part of releasing an album is definitely the writing process.
Mm.
I kind of like recording most of the time if everything works out, if everything goes well. Um, yeah, I have to say that we're having a lot of fun now. Um, just talking about all the practical aspects, thinking about how we can put on the best show we can. Like I said, also with lights and we have to get a new backdrop and everything, maybe a bass drum skin, and it's really coming down to the final details. And
Mm.
I'm really enjoying this too. But the best thing about music, even more fun than actually playing live, is writing to me.
Okay, it just goes back to that, isn't it? It still is should be always the most important thing because that's where your creativity is getting to come out.
Yeah, exactly. It's the best time ever if you have that feeling where you're like in the zone and things are working and you're coming up with cool new ideas. Yeah, that's a great feeling.
What about all the other stuff though? And I mean, like, well, you mentioned interviews, for example, like there's something that's you're doing more of these days than you've ever done in the past, and the press side of things and the promotion, the social media, all of that stuff, all the extra work that comes with being in a band now. Do you get pleasure? Can you get enjoyment out of that side of things?
Yeah, absolutely. And the good thing is, of course, we don't have to do everything ourselves. We have a great team working with us, a great crew, great manager and booking agent, and of course, an amazing label as well, who are really doing their best to promote this album. Very thankful for all they're doing for us. But yeah, it's all good fun. It's part of it.
Do you talking about the specific social media side of things, because obviously that's such an important part of being in a band these days as well. Do you enjoy that side of things? Do you enjoy having to be a bit more public and put yourself out there?
Yeah, I think at first I didn't really like it, and I just got used to it. I guess I don't have any social media pages except for a Facebook page. But yeah, I do most of the social media for the band and
Mm.
also for my other band, Hippo Tractor. So yeah, I mean, I kind of know what I'm doing by now, and I guess it's a good feeling to realize that you're getting better at it. But occasionally, yeah, I don't like how it feels like you're just selling your stuff and you're you know, asking people for money, basically.
Mm.
Like, uh, yeah, but I've gotten used to it. It's fine. I don't really mind.
Yeah, it's that, isn't it? It's getting used to it. It is a necessary evil, and if you can make
Yeah,
it fun or interesting for yourself, then that's a win.
yeah, I agree.
So, of course, we are talking about World Maker, 24th of October via Pelagic Records, a profound record that is recognizably you, but also, as always, wholly unique and experimental. A true showcase of your evolution, but also how life can dictate creativity. So, I'd ask you, as we get into like a little bit of it now, I'd ask you if you can sum up what you think this record says about Psychonaut as you kind of stand here at the tail end of 2025.
I think it shows that we are vulnerable and that we don't just know how to write massive spiritual and existential concept albums, but that we also are no longer afraid to kind of show how we feel. Our second album, our previous one, was very angry, and it was talking a lot about the state of the world. It was our COVID album, But this time around, yeah, we're writing about very personal things. The main event is me becoming a father last year. And unfortunately, in the same year, losing my own father and also Thomas's father, our bass player, in a very short period of time. It's a very weird, paradoxal energy in there.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that would be a good thing if people realize that. Yeah, it's cool that we're also human and we're not afraid to show it and to write about things that are a bit closer to home, I'd say.
Yeah, that is fascinating for to me because ultimately, as you said in the last record, very angry. The world was a mess, but it's
Mhm.
not like the world's any better now. All right, it's not
No.
COVID, but it's not. So it wouldn't have been too much of a surprise had you gone angry again.
Yeah, if the world was bad then, I mean, imagine now, like fuck.
No.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back a little bit, really, and look at the vision, specifically the vision you may have had for this new album initially. Did you have a clear one? And if so, what did that look like?
I think it comes down to me deciding that I want to write an album for my son to be
Hmm.
and making sure that he has something that I left behind, some if something should ever happen to me, then at least he'll have this album. But also simply me trying to show him what I think the best music in the world is that I can possibly write myself and to create an narrative and immersive album that tells a story that you want to listen to from start to finish and that has that tension arc, so to speak, that's based on a lot of Pink Floyd albums and Porcupine Tree albums that we all love so much. That really sucks you in and then hits you in the face in the right time, and then puts you in a soft blanket at the other time, exactly when you want it. And yeah, that was the main goal.
Hmm. So from the moment, I mean, was it you obviously find out you're going to be a father, and that's an incredible thing. Is your next thought, I want to make music about this specific thing? How do you get from finding out you're going to be a father to I want to write an album around that?
It was very, uh, yeah, it just made sense. I mean, like I said, we write about things that are very important in our lives, and most of the times those are like very philosophical or whatever themes. But I couldn't really imagine after I found out that my wife was pregnant anything more important happening in the next few years. So yeah, I realized very quickly that the joy I felt and also the inspiration I felt would go to waste if I didn't use this. So I thought, yeah, this is going to be a different one, but it might be the best thing ever, and it might be, yeah, it might not, but yeah, this is what I want to do. So let's do it.
Yeah, like what it was worth exploring no matter what because you had those feelings inside, and yeah, I guess
Yeah,
had you ignore them, I mean, well, I guess it's almost impossible to know what would have happened had you ignored them.
yeah, true. We could have come up with a very different album,
Mm.
but we really love having a topic in mind before we actually start writing music. We're always writing, so there's always ideas coming up. But once we have the basic idea for a concept, that's when things really get cooking, and when yeah, things start to take form and make sense. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah, foundations makes complete sense to me. But along the way, obviously, life dictates things, and what goes on around you changes things, and the direction can get well. You can be knocked off your path, basically. Um, with considering what was going on with you, with you, and your personal life and your loss, like, did were you able to stay as focused as much as possible on what you wanted this album to be?
Yeah, that was of course the challenge, right? Once we
Mm,
found out that my dad was diagnosed with cancer and Thomas's dad as well, we kind of had to make a decision for the album because I didn't really feel like completely changing it. And
yeah.
also at that point, I think we were about 70% done anyway. So yeah, we just tried to stick to the plan as much as we could. Lyrically, there are very few references to the loss.
Hmm.
It's almost 100% focused on being a father and teaching life lessons and all that. But musically, definitely in the last two tracks, you can really feel, yeah, more melancholy and a bit of hope. Unfortunately, unsuccessful hope, but
Mm.
yeah, musically, you can definitely hear that in those last two songs. They're very much Pink Floyd inspired. My dad was a massive Pink Floyd fan as well, so that was kind of a tribute to him. Um, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's an incredible journey to be on. It's something I think people can, even if let's say they're not necessarily a parent, the life lessons, the stories that are being told in the music has such feeling that I think anybody can connect to it. And whether
Mhm.
we like it or not, inevitably everyone will suffer a loss at some stage of their life. And so I think, as you say, the last two tracks, the last couple of tracks will really connect to people in a different way.
Yeah, yeah.
Those early kind of writing days, you have your foundation, you're exploring these ideas, and obviously Psychonaut can be whatever you want it to be within reason. There are no really any rules around the music you make. So how experimental did you find yourself being in those early days?
I think the biggest experimenting we do is actually before we have the concrete idea for a concept. That's when we write the weirdest stuff that really doesn't make sense and is just like all completely all over the place. And then that kind of lands, and 90% of everything we tried gets thrown away. But there are a
Right.
few things that, and that's the period that we always need to come up with a new sound. We always need to filter some bad ideas before we get to the good ones, I guess. But all throughout the writing process, like you said, and anything's allowed. I know
Yeah.
there's only three of us, but that's talking about a live show. In the studio, we can do whatever we want, right?
Mm.
And a few funny limitations that did something cool were having a newborn in my home and not being able to make noise, not being able to play guitar and write when he's asleep, meant that I yeah, ended up writing with my headphones on and just using plugins and downloading free plugins like pianos and
Yep.
tablas, like which eventually made it on the record. And yeah, that way I think that's a very interesting way of writing. Like I'm the guitarist and the singer, but I'm not using those at the time when I'm writing. And
Mm.
yeah, you come up with weird stuff.
It's certainly a unique way of having to do it. But also, I guess the mindset you would have been in, like during that time, the headspace, because ultimately you've got a newborn, and that brings with it an incredible array of challenges, tiredness, and just
Hmm.
distractions all the time. Were you able to bear that in mind? Were you able to stay as focused as much as you hoped you would? Like, did you ever have trouble keeping focus?
Definitely trouble. Yeah. We made it, but of course, getting all that bad news and then, yeah, obviously spending as much time with our fathers as we could, um, but also still continuing work and just doing live stuff made it very challenging. I remember this was by far the most chaotic recording process we've ever had. This was
Hmm.
recorded in record time, and I think about 2 months we did everything, including mix and master. We've never done an album that quickly, but yeah, there was just no time left. That was just hit or miss. We had, I think, maybe 6 vocal days, and if one of us would have gotten sick, then I don't know,
Right.
we wouldn't have made it. But luckily, everything turned out right. But it was definitely a close call sometimes.
Oh, I'm really glad that it's turned out as well as it has, really, considering all
Hmm.
those stresses. And it's funny, really, because ultimately, I feel like almost every record up to this point, it's like it's a specific moment in time for you guys as a group. Like you'll never be able to replicate what you've done on the previous record or this record, and that's so cool.
Hmm. Yeah, that's true. There's a saying, right? Limitations breed creativity, and I think, yeah, good things can happen when you're under pressure. And yeah, when you just have to make do with what you've got, sometimes that works.
Yeah, ideally, we don't want that to be the case, but that's not
Hmm.
how life works,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
exactly.
What stage did you start to notice the body of an album coming together? You had X amount of tracks done, you were finalizing things and thinking, okay, this is what the album is going to look like.
Yeah, good question. What we usually need is like 1 or 2 songs that we're so convinced about that there's no way they're not gonna make it. So we'll have something, and those are the hardest songs to write
Mm.
because yeah, we try to write an immersive album, and once we have one song, then that means we can no longer have a song like this. Like we've ticked this box, then now we need to go on to the next one.
Yeah,
And B, now we get to do something to perfectly introduce this song. And also now we get to answer the question, well, what comes after this song? And yeah, once we have those 1 or 2 songs done, then things get rolling. And in this case, I think the most important song to finish was it's actually a two-part song. It's track 3 and 4. You are the
yep.
sky, everything else is just the weather. That was really the song that took like 6 months to write and to finish. But once that was done, I felt like the whole album is going to be revolving around this song. That's going to be the basis, right? We're going to build up to this and then we're going to follow it with something. And yeah, that's what happened. And really happy about that song as well. That's my favorite, I think.
Oh, it's an incredible, incredible song. What an anchor as well. We're going to use that. I'll use that term for it, an anchor that kind of stopped you and allowed you to fish around it and then build around it. Yeah, that makes so much sense to me. I haven't listened to the record. And yeah, I'm glad you're so positive about that. But like when you reflect, I guess, on the entire writing process, is it mostly a positive experience for you this time around?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I guess I could realize when all the shit hit the fan, like everyone's gonna go through this.
Mm.
I just had this incredible opportunity to become a father. I'm so happy my son was born healthy. I guess maybe it was too much happiness. Maybe something had to make room. I tried to make sense of it like that. So yeah, and of course before the bad news, when everything was just pink clouds and just joy and love, yeah, it was the best thing ever. Easiest lyrics I've ever had to write. Everything came out very quickly. Didn't bother to sound too intelligent or whatever, just
Mm,
saying what I felt and
yeah,
very liberating.
well, incredible, incredible. You mentioned the studio. You mentioned obviously time effectively being, I guess, the biggest challenge. But was there anything else from the studio side of things that you kind of ran into as an unexpected challenge?
Um, there was one interesting thing we tried that luckily worked out
Okay.
for the same reasons of time being an issue. I decided to record all of my guitars at home.
Hmm.
Um, Never done that before, and of course that also means that either you're going to have to reamp them or you're going to stick with the sound you made at home. And while I was writing the demos, I had been messing around with this guitar plugin. Which is very well known by now. It's the Archetype Nolly plugin. I'm also using that live now, switched to a quad cortex and everything. But yeah, I spent a lot of time finding the right guitar sounds when I was writing. I think that's very important too, by the way. And eventually, I maybe did 10 or 20% again, and everything else is just the demo guitars.
Really?
And yeah, I was proud that our engineer said that I had good guitar sounds because he's usually very strict, and I know if he says it's good, then it's good. So that was an interesting challenge, which luckily worked out, I'd say. Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic. And I love it when you have that relationship with someone. You know, if they're saying, hey, this is good, then it
Yeah,
definitely is, because otherwise they wouldn't be saying it at all.
yeah, exactly. And the alternative is usually I'm uh, at his house like every day for 2 or 3 weeks on a chair, doing riff after riff 50 times and then making the sound first. And yeah, it's a lot of work. So I really liked that this was easier this time.
Again, I go back to what I said earlier on, unique. You'll never be able to, potentially never be able to replicate that again.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Sticking to the studio, also, what about pushing yourself in ways that maybe you didn't expect? Something about your own evolution that you discovered this time round.
I guess in terms of singing,
Mm,
um, for no particular reason, it turned out that I'm singing most of the clean parts on this album. I guess maybe because the topic is so close to home, it kind of makes sense. But I'm singing a lot of fragile, clean parts, really
mm,
putting myself out there, so to speak. And in the studio, I'm fairly confident. I know that I'll get the take I need eventually, if I just get enough time.
yep.
But I'm really dreading doing some of these parts live, to be honest.
Mm.
I'm very insecure as a singer. I'm like my guitar playing is fine. I can play it. I'm not really worried about that. But singing, man, oh, it's such a yeah. I mean, it comes from inside. Literally, the sound comes from inside. If someone says I didn't sing very well at a particular show, then yeah, that hurts.
Mm.
It's so that's something that I think we didn't really stray away from when recording, but I am not looking forward to doing some of these live. Yeah,
How are you building your confidence up to do it though? Because ultimately you're gonna have to kind of get over that hump.
I know. Yeah, we always record every show we play. We film them with a GoPro, and just evaluate ourselves constantly. And that's good for me to know what I need to work on. But
Mm.
in the end, I guess it just comes down to faking confidence until you actually become confident. It's weird after a while you don't realize that you're not pretending anymore. You just got there somehow. And everyone around me always says, just sing like you mean it. It's better that you do it that way and that your pitch is a bit off than if you're stressing out trying to get the pitch exactly right, but
Mm.
you're not really saying anything. So yeah, I just try to close my eyes and sing.
I think most people understand the difference between live and studio as well, ultimately, and how, I don't know, you've been on the road for a week straight, so maybe
Hmm.
the seventh or eighth show may not be quite as pitch perfect as it was in a studio. I think most people get that.
Yeah, I hope so. And I'm like that too. I mean, I actually love hearing, let's say, Colin from Amin Ra missing a note
Yeah,
occasionally. I'm just happy to hear that he has it too, and it never gets me out of the music or it's fine. It's just trying. So yeah,
it's it's being human.
yeah, exactly.
When you reflect on the entire period of this album's creation, I mean, from the very moment that you sat down together and discussed what you were going to do next to where we are now, what are some of your favorite memories?
Oh man, I remember some of these songs just being really intense to write, especially some of the lyrics. Like when my son was 2 or 3 weeks old, just writing these very honest lyrics and just felt so amazing, so emotional. I really loved that. I loved working together with our amazing video crew again. We have his name. His name is Toon Persijn. He's our director. He's done all of our videos since Violate, I think. Great guy to work with. I think he did an amazing job as well. But also talking to Sam, who did the artwork, who also plays guitar in a band called Potamus, which you should check out if you don't know them. It's just fun working with everyone. around this band. DJ, our merch guy, talking to him about the perfect merch designs, and it's all good. We have such a big family around us, and as long as we're doing something together to serve the band, it's such an amazing feeling. Yeah, it's a feeling of community, let's say.
Yeah, you use words like team, family, and all of that, but it really does apply to you as a group.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think one of the most incredible things, reading up beforehand about this album before even listening to it, and obviously learning about the experience and things you've gone through to get to this point, the effect that becoming a father has had on you is truly out. It's incredible. I'm a father myself, but well, my kid's 22 now, so I've been
Jesus.
yeah, it's a bit beyond
Okay.
where you're at. But I can understand, I can share a lot of what you're going through at this point in time, and so can many others. But one of the things I find so incredibly interesting is how it's affected your musical output, specifically the effect it's had on a Psychonaut. Um, do you understand that yourself? Like, can you sit back and look at how it's affecting what you do musically now?
Yeah. And it's bigger than that, right? It's like you said, it changes you as a person. It changes your outlook on things. It makes you reevaluate everything. All of a sudden, nothing is as important as it used to be, and you have a different role now, different priorities. So yeah, that impacts everything you do. I think
Mm.
my day job is being a teacher. It even impacts how I treat my kids in class now. It goes everywhere. So yeah, I realize that musically this is a new thing. I can tell that a lot of people are going to think it might be a love it or hate it thing. You know what I mean? It might be a bit polarizing, but it's definitely going to be something different. And I like that.
Yeah, I do too as well. And I go back to what I said before, that regardless of differences, and it is different, it's still you. And if people have
Hmm.
supported and loved what you've done up to this point, I think they're going to love this just as much.
I hope so, man. Yeah.
So we kind of got to look a little bit ahead and into 2026 really here. You talked earlier on about, you're working on what you need to do live. You're talking about track lists and things, set lists, and so on. So is the goal or the thinking for 2026 to try and basically be on the road out as much as humanly possible?
Yeah. Yeah. So the goal is definitely to promote this album, to be on the road as much as we can. We have a lot of things planned for Europe, which hasn't been announced yet, but will be announced soon. We have our 5 release shows coming up in a few weeks, of course. We're doing London, Berlin, Paris, Amsterdam, and Brussels. And who knows, man? We just might make it to the States with this album at some point. That would be awesome as well. So
Yeah.
we'll be on the road.
As much as you can, I guess, and I can't wait to see you out and about live as well. But also before then, October 24th, World Maker, Pelagic Records. I cannot wait to see people's response to it. It is an incredible listening experience, and one I think that people will be talking about next year and so on for many years to come, particularly in regards to the Psychonaut back catalogue and grander kind of vision. Stefan, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
You're welcome, man. It was really nice talking to you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.